Austria, a country where magnificent Alpine mountains rise above crystal-clear lakes, where imperial palaces tell stories of powerful empires, where classical music still echoes through historic streets, where medieval villages sit beneath snow-covered peaks, where elegant cities, dramatic landscapes, and centuries of culture come together in one extraordinary destination. For millions of travelers around the world, Austria is more than just Vienna, more than Mozart, and more than the Alps. It is a country where history and nature exist side by side. A place where you can explore a royal palace in the morning, ride through mountain landscapes in the afternoon, and finish the day beside a beautiful lake surrounded by ancient villages. But here's the question. What makes Austria so special in 2026? Is it the imperial beauty of Vienna, the mountains of Tyrol, the lakes of Salzburg, the fairy tale villages of Hallstatt, or the incredible combination of history, culture, nature, and quality of life? Because millions of visitors arrive expecting elegant palaces, classical music, snowy mountains, beautiful villages, and Austrian cuisine. The internet shows Vienna, Hallstatt, Salzburg, the Alps, ski resorts, palaces, and Christmas markets. But it rarely shows hidden mountain valleys, small lakeside villages, historic railway journeys, local traditions, peaceful countryside, and the real Austria beyond the most photographed places. Because traveling through Austria is not simply about checking famous landmarks off a list. It is about experiencing a country that has influenced European history, music, art, architecture, and culture for centuries. So today, we are going to explore the complete Austria Travel Guide 2026, including the best cities, hidden destinations, famous attractions, nature, food, transportation, travel budget, safety, best time to visit, tourist mistakes, and the real Austria beyond Instagram. Because Austria is not simply a destination, it is an experience. Now, let's begin. Located in Central Europe, Austria is surrounded by Germany, Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary, Slovenia, Italy, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. Much of the country is dominated by the Alps, and this geography gives Austria some of Europe's most spectacular mountain landscapes. But Austria is not only mountains. It also has historic cities, beautiful lakes, forests, vineyards, castles, and peaceful countryside. And perhaps the most fascinating thing about Austria is how much history exists in such a compact country. Now, let's begin our journey in Vienna. Vienna, the capital of Austria and one of Europe's greatest cultural cities. For centuries, Vienna was the center of the Habsburg Empire. The legacy of that period is still visible everywhere. Walk through the magnificent Hofburg Palace, explore Schönbrunn Palace, admire St. Stephen's Cathedral, and walk through the historic city center. Vienna is also one of the world's most important cities for classical music. Names like Mozart, Beethoven, Schubert, and Strauss are deeply connected to the city. But Vienna is not trapped in the past. Modern cafes, contemporary art, innovative restaurants, and vibrant neighborhoods have created a city where imperial history meets modern European life. And there's another reason travelers love Vienna: its coffeehouse culture. Traditional Viennese coffee houses are more than places to drink coffee. They're part of the city's social and cultural identity. Sit down, order a coffee and a traditional cake, and experience a slower side of European life. Now, let's travel west to Salzburg, a city surrounded by mountains and one of the most beautiful historic cities in Europe. Salzburg is famous as the birthplace of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, but its story goes much further. Explore the historic Old Town, walk through Getreidegasse, visit Salzburg Cathedral, and climb toward Hohensalzburg Fortress. From the fortress, the views across the city and surrounding mountains are spectacular. Salzburg is also closely associated with the movie The Sound of Music, and fans can explore many of the locations connected with the famous film. But even without the movie, Salzburg is worth visiting simply for its architecture, history, and dramatic setting. Now, let's travel to Hallstatt, one of the most photographed villages in Europe. Located beside Lake Hallstatt and surrounded by towering mountains, the village looks almost unreal. Traditional houses climb the hillside, the lake reflects the surrounding peaks, and the narrow streets create a fairy tale atmosphere. But here's an important travel tip. Hallstatt is extremely popular. During peak hours, the small village can become crowded. So if you want a more peaceful experience, arrive early, stay overnight if possible, and explore the area beyond the main viewpoint. Because Hallstatt is not just a photograph, it is a living community. Now, let's explore the Austrian Alps. For many travelers, this is where Austria becomes truly unforgettable. The Alps cover a large part of the country, creating opportunities for skiing, hiking, mountain biking, scenic drives, and breathtaking panoramic views. In winter, Austria becomes one of Europe's major skiing destinations. In summer, the same mountains transform into hiking paradise. Green valleys, wildflower-covered slopes, clear mountain lakes, and peaceful trails create an entirely different experience. This is one of Austria's greatest advantages. You can visit the same region in different seasons and feel like you are visiting a completely different country. Now, let's travel to Innsbruck, the capital of Tyrol and one of Europe's most spectacular mountain cities. Innsbruck is surrounded by the Alps, but unlike remote mountain resorts, it combines urban life with immediate access to nature. Explore the historic Old Town, see the famous Golden Roof, visit the Imperial Palace, and then, within a short journey, you can be surrounded by mountains. For travelers who want both city culture and outdoor adventure, Innsbruck is one of Austria's best destinations. Now, let's discover Austria's lakes. Beyond the Alps, Austria is home to countless beautiful lakes. The Salzkammergut region is especially famous. Crystal clear water, green mountains, historic villages, and peaceful landscapes create an atmosphere that feels completely different from busy European cities. Lake Wolfgang, Lake Attersee, and Lake Mondsee are just a few examples. And if you enjoy photography, these landscapes can easily become some of the most memorable moments of your trip. Now, let's discover Austria's hidden side. Because many travelers visit Vienna, Salzburg, and Hallstatt and then leave, but there is much more. Explore Graz, Austria's second-largest city, famous for its historic center, architecture, and food culture. Visit Zell am See, a beautiful destination combining a mountain lake with dramatic alpine scenery. Discover Wachau Valley, a UNESCO-listed cultural landscape along the Danube. Explore small villages, vineyards, castles, and historic monasteries. And if you want something even quieter, travel into the smaller Alpine communities where traditional Austrian life continues far away from international tourism. Because the real Austria lives beyond the postcards. Now, let's talk about Austrian food. Austrian cuisine has been influenced by centuries of Central European history, and some of its most famous dishes have become internationally recognized. Try Wiener Schnitzel, one of Austria's most famous dishes, Tafelspitz, a traditional boiled beef dish, Käsespätzle, a comforting Alpine-style cheese dish, Apfelstrudel, a classic Austrian dessert, and Sachertorte, the famous chocolate cake associated with Vienna, and of course, Austrian coffee and pastries. Food in Austria is not just about eating. Traditional cafes, mountain huts, local bakeries, and historic restaurants are part of the experience. Now, let's talk about Austrian culture. Austria has played a major role in European music, art, architecture, and philosophy. Classical music remains an important part of its identity.
Opera houses, concert halls, museums, and historic theaters continue to attract visitors from around the world. But Austrian culture is not only found in cities. Traditional festivals, Alpine villages, Christmas markets, mountain traditions, and local craftsmanship remain important parts of everyday life. During winter, Austrian Christmas markets transform historic city centers into magical environments. And in the mountains, traditional festivals preserve customs that have existed for generations. Now, let's discuss transportation. Austria is one of the easiest European countries to explore without a car. Trains connect Vienna, Salzburg, Innsbruck, Graz, and many other cities. Regional trains reach smaller destinations, buses connect mountain villages, and scenic railway journeys can become an attraction in themselves. For example, traveling through Alpine valleys